Shankaram, Siva Shankaram. In this video, we look at the Sthala Puranam of Sri Brahmapureeswarar Temple, or the Periyakovil as it's called, in the city of Sirkazhi. Now it's said that this temple existed during the Chola period, and the first Vimana existed in the 10th or the 11th century, and later it was expanded by the same set of kings, probably by Kulottunga I, Vikrama Chola, Kulottunga II and III. And then it got passed on to the Pandyas, Vijayanagara Empire. So let us see some of the deities here. Now this temple is structured on 3 levels. So on the ground level, you have Sri Brahmapureeswarar himself as a linga, and along with him, just behind him, is goddess Tirunilai Nayagi or Sthira Sundari. And she's probably called that in Sanskrit because she had sthira devotion, that is a staunch devotion towards Lord Shiva. In another Vimana on the 2nd level, you have Periyanayagar or Thoni Appar Siva. So it's a huge idol of Shiva, along with goddess Periyanayagi. Now they are sitting in a Thoni, which is a boat. We'll come to why he was sitting on a boat later. Above him, you have Sattainathar, the Samadhi of Sattainathar, and he is considered to be Bhairava himself, and we'll talk about him as well later. One of the most important shrines in this temple is that of Thirugnana Sambandar, in reverence or in respect of the child saint who existed during the 7th century. You also have Ashtabhairava Sannidhis here, and that is why this temple is very important, because it's considered to be as important as Kashi, because in Kashi as well in the north you have the Ashtabhairavas. This is one of the rare temples where you can have darshan of all the Trimurtis along with their wives. So you have Brahma Saraswati, you have Vishnu Mahalakshmi, and you have Shiva and Parvati. Now some other beliefs here. If you take 7 or 8 temples in the Tanjavur belt and put them together, you will get a temple on its own. What I mean by that is, if you take the center to be Tiruvadai Marathur Mahalingam, so that's the Garbhagraham of Lord Shiva. Then around him you have Tiruvalanchuri in different directions, I mean. So you have Tiruvalanchuri Vinayakar, you know, the white Vinayakar. You have Swami Malai Murugan, where Murugan actually gave the Omkara mantra to Lord Shiva. You have Chidambaram Natarajar, okay, or Tillai Kootan as they say. Sirkazhi Bhairavar, so Sirkazhi, which is this Periyakovil. Alangudi Dakshinamurti, so Alangudi is a Guru Sthanam, where Shiva is sitting as Dakshinamurti. Senganur Chandikeshwar, you know, Chandikeshwar always is along with Shiva. So Senganur Chandikeshwar, and Suryanar Koil Navagrahams. So which has got mainly the Surya energy, but all the Navagrahams along with it. Sirkazhi has got a lot of names. There are about 12 names. We'll look at most of the names during the legend, but 1 or 2 names I'll mention here. So one is Shenbai, probably because it was a forest having some Shenbai trees or Shenbagam trees. Then Sattainathar, obviously because of Sattainathar who's sitting there, or it's also called Sattainadiswaram. As I said, we'll explain the other names later. Sirkazhi is also called a Jnana Bhumi. So a Bhumi, a land where you will get Jnana, will get divine wisdom, or that knowledge which takes you towards salvation. And that is mostly because Thirugnana Sambandar got Jnanam here. So now let us move on to the legends. So first is the staunch worship of Kali. So it is believed that Kali worshipped Sivan here, and hence the name Srikazhipuram or Srikazhipuram. Now at that time it was colloquialized, probably they couldn't say Srikazhi, so it became Sirkazhi. So Sirkazhipuram or Sirkazhi. It is also thought that one another name, that is Sirapuram, probably also came from this name only, because it may have been called Sripuram, so it must have just got garbled to Sirapuram. Now another name is Pugali. So the Devas, they were distressed by the Asuras, and they came and took shelter in this place. Now in Tamil, when you take shelter or you come to a particular place, it's called Pugali, because you come and settle in a place. So that is why this place is also called Pugali. So in most of the Thevarams also, you will see Pugaliyar Kon. So you will see Thirinyana Sambandar also talking about Pugali. So that is not Pugali, that is nothing but Sirkazhi. Now there's another legend that all the planets, they came here and worshipped. So, and they got absolved from their sins, and that is why it is called Kadu Malam. So Malam, their sins, they got Kadu. Kadu means it got removed or it got washed away. So that is why it's called Kadu Malam as well. Another legend here is the Brahma worship and Thoni Appar. Now sometimes these two legends are separate, sometimes they are interconnected. So we'll just talk about both as if they were interconnected. So Brahma once got a lot of arrogance, as if he was the most powerful person out of those Trimurtis. So he was most powerful in this place. So Shiva wants to teach him a lesson, and he makes him forget the Om mantra, which is the Pranava mantra, Omkaram basically. And then Brahma realizes his folly, and he comes here and prays to Lord Shiva, and that is why he is called Thiru Brahmapuram. Now when I say the Om mantra, so we'll come to now the Thoni Appar story, then you'll understand this probable connection between Brahma and the Om mantra. So there was the Mahapralaya at one point in this city, and I mean in the whole world. And Lord Shiva, you know, during a pralayam, what happens is the seas flood the land, or the rivers also flood the land, and there's water everywhere. So Uma Maheshwarar, that is Lord Shiva himself, he comes taking those 64 arts. You know, he is a master of all the 64 arts, like dance, singing, etc. He makes the Thoni. So he comes in a boat, because I told you it's flooded with water. So he has to somehow float on it. He comes in a boat, or you can call it a raft. Now in Tamil, a raft is called Thoni. So he comes here along with goddess Parvati, and he sees that this place is kind of unaffected by the pralayam. And how he comes in this Thoni is, he's made that Omkara mantra into a Thoni. Or you can say that Thoni that is made symbolizes the Omkara mantra. So now you can see a kind of relationship between the Omkara mantra that he made Brahma forget and this. So he comes here and lands here. He sees, okay, this place is unaffected, and he wants to reside here. So probably that's when he makes Brahma realize the value of the Omkara mantra, and Brahma he worships him, he seeks forgiveness, and they sit here. So that is why he is called Periyanayagar or Thoni Appar. And he is normally sitting, as I said, he is normally sitting in a two-storied tower. And the terrace, if you go up to the to the top story of this tower, the terrace is referred to as Thiruthoni Malai. So it's like a hill. So if you go up, you can actually see the entire vicinity from this temple, from the top. Now because he brought the 64 arts along with him, this place is also called Venupuram. Now Venu means knowledge of the arts. So you see, it's also called Venguru. Now this can have two meanings. Ven, you can still say, is coming from Venu. So the Guru who gave the 64 arts, or Ven means the lustrous one. So he came here and he showed his luster. He was a brilliant person, right? He had so much of light. He is the true light. So he is the Guru who shows you the path. So that is why you can say this is also called Ven Guru. Now we'll go to the next legend, which is Chinna Kailasha legend. So there used to be a sage called Romasa who did penance in Kailash. And you know, Kailash is in the north. Now it is obviously under Chinese control. He wanted Shiva to grant the Kailash darshan in the south, because it's very difficult to go to the north. And also in the same meanwhile, or in the same time, there was a contest between Vayu and Adishesha, that who is stronger. So Vayu Bhagwan and Adishesha, you know, the snake on whom Lord Vishnu sleeps or lies down. So Adishesha went and covered the whole of Kailash, and Vayu couldn't even move it. Then Devas requested Adishesha, please yield to Vayu, and why are you both fighting? There is no point in you both fighting. So he releases a part of it. So when he releases, Vayu blows. So a small part of Kailash is blown away. Now, while it is being blown away, it is brought, they say it is being brought by 20 birds. Now, you may ask me, how do the birds actually have the strength to carry a small part of the mountain? We'll call them divine birds, okay? Or you can say angels who converted themselves into birds and brought it. And that small mountain was brought to this place and it was dropped here. So that is why you call it Chinna Kailasa. You can also say that I told you that the temple is structured in 3 levels. That is probably also why it is structured in 3 levels, so like a hill. Now some of the names that come out of this legend, so Poon Tarai. So Dara means mountain. Poon is like ornamented or just wearing, you can say. So because the Mount of Kailash probably felt here, it's called Poon Tarai. It's also called Puravam. Now Puravam can come from Pura, meaning dove, or you can even say those birds were probably doves. So maybe that is why Puravam came. Or you can say this was part of a forest. So that is why Puravam also means forest. So probably that is why it was called. You remember I told you when I said Shenbai, probably it was a forest consisting of Shenbagam trees or something like that. So that is why you could get this name. It is also called Kochevaiyam. Kochi, you can say in Tamil, it means small. You can say, okay, small world, because small Kailasha is here. So, you know, Kailasha was the world then, or India was the world then. So you can say that is why it is called small world. Or maybe because small birds brought this world here, this Kailasha here, maybe that is why it is called Kochuvayam. So we still don't know, but these are just some interpretations of the name. We'll go to the next legend, very important legend, Bhairava and Sattainathar. So to understand this legend, we need to understand who Trivikrama was, or Vamana avatar of Lord Vishnu. So you know, Lord Vishnu took the Vamana avatar to measure, right? He wanted 3 measures of land, or 3 feet of land from King Bali, from Bali Chakravarti. And one he measures the land, one he measures the sky, and the third, when he is asked where to keep it, Bali Chakravarti says, you please keep it on my head, and he is pushed underground. Now they say once he got rid of Bali Chakravarti, he got some kind of arrogance. I am the best out of all the 3 people, out of all the 3 worlds. I am the best, I am the strongest and all. And he came with that arrogance. And he was driving away all the devas because of that arrogance, or that pride, you can say. So the devas probably request Shiva, and Shiva brings him down with one blow. So basically he hits him, and Lord Vishnu falls down. Then what happens is, to strip him of that arrogance, Lord Vishnu tells, okay, you please take away my bones and you take away my skin. So the bone is normally referred to as egoism. So he's taken away the bones and he's holding it as a mace, as one of his weapons. And the skin is basically the Maya that we have. So it's just symbolic, I'm saying. And Lord Shiva takes that skin and wears it. Now at that point, Lakshmi feels, because she sees the skin on Lord Shiva, she thinks, oh God, Shiva has killed Vishnu. She comes and prays to Lord Shiva, because she thinks she's a widow now, because without Vishnu. So she's also removed the flowers and all from her hair and all. You know, widows normally, they dress themselves, they remove the flowers, they dress themselves in white and all that. So that is why Lakshmi, she thinks she's a widow. She comes to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva says, okay, fine, don't worry, I'll bring him to life, and he brings him to life. So now because he wore that skin as his dress. Sattai means what? Shirt or dress. So he is sometimes called Sattainathar, the Lord who wore the shirt. Or because he quelled the arrogance of Vishnu, you can say he brought law into the world. So Sattam, that is why also he is called Sattanathar. So there are two variations of the same word, Sattai or Sattanathar. Now we say that Lord Shiva, he came as Bhairava, because when Lord Shiva takes a Swarupa who is angry, we normally refer to an angry Swarupa of Lord Shiva, which is Bhairava himself. So that is why they say this version of Shiva that came here to quell his arrogance is Lord Bhairava. You remember I said there is a Siddhar sitting on top. That Siddhar is said to be Bhairava. Now that Siddhar is also said to have come from Sinhala Desha, that is from Sri Lanka, and he is supposed to come here and taken Samadhi here. Now, he would have obviously taken Samadhi here because he is part of that Bhairava energy. Now you remember when I was talking to you about the deities, I said there are Ashta Bhairavas here. But the main Bhairava who is sitting here is Asitanga Bhairava. So this Sirkazhi temple is said to have that particular energy of Asitanga Bhairava, which is nothing but the Guru energy. That is why that Guru is sitting above Thoniyappar, who is also in the form of Guru. So they say Lord Shiva is worshipped in three forms here. One is Guru, one is that Linga which I said, and the Sangama, that is the Sangam of the two. So the Linga I told you is the Brahmapureeswarar. The Guru you can say is Thoniyappar, and just an enhanced form of the same Guru is the Sattainathar who is sitting on top. Now there is also a temple dedicated to Lord Vishnu which is not very far from here. This is also one of the 108 Divya Desams of Perumal. This is nothing but that Trivikrama whose arrogance Bhairava quelled. So that Trivikrama is also called Tadalan. Tadam means expanse. So in this you can say is the earth, and Alandan is the one who measured. So that is why he is none other than Ulagalanda Perumal, the one who measured the entire expanse. Now you can take that as the earth, you can take that as the sky as well. They also say in that Kovil you have Thirumangai Alvar who is sitting there, and Thirumangai Alvar was a contemporary, that means he was in the same time as Tiruniyana Sambandar, and it is said that they both met and they never had any problems. Normally we have heard that Shaivites had problems with the Vaishnavites, but those two never had any problems. And Tiruniyana Sambandar had also given him a veil, a spear to Thirumangai Alvar. You can see that spear along with Thirumangai Alvar in this Tadalan Koil. Now let us go to the final legend of this temple, which is from Sambandar to Tiruniyana Sambandar. So this Sirkazhi is Tiruniyana Sambandar's hometown. So obviously he was born as Sambandar only, and when he attains the age of 3, his father, Siva father, he brings him to this Koil, and he is having a dip in that holy tank. The holy tank is called Brahmatirtha. It's a huge tank which is sitting in the front of the temple. Now when he is dipping, for that 1 or 2 seconds, he's just a 3-year-old boy. He doesn't see his father, and he's very disturbed and concerned. He says, "Appa, Appa," and he cries out like that. And suddenly he sees Rishabharudan. Now who is Rishabharudan? Lord Shiva sitting on a Rishabha, on a bull. So on Nandi. So he sees Lord Shiva on the bull along with Parvati. And Parvati gives him that Jnanappal, gives him the milk. So once he drinks that milk, once Ambal either writes on your tongue or just gives you that Jnanappal, then you are a totally different person. You are a different incarnation altogether. And from then on, he starts singing. So his very first song is Thodudiya Seviyan. Thodudiya Seviyan Vidai Eriyor Tuvan Madisudi Todudia Sevian. So Lord Shiva came along with an earring in his ear, Todudia Sevian, Vidai Erior. So he came on a bull, he is saying. Okay, Madisudi, he came along with the moon on him. So he is just explaining that scene. Now, just before that song, actually his father, he's dipping, right? He comes up and he sees milk on his chin, or on just next to his lips, and he asks him, where is this from? And he obviously then explains that Lord Shiva only gave it to me, and then he sings the song. Then obviously he goes on pilgrimages, and his glory is said throughout the town of Sirkazhi. So this is why this town is known as a Jnana Bhumi. Now it is also said that Adi Shankara mentions this particular incident, and he mentions Trinjana Sambandar, Dravida Shishu in Saundarya Lahari. Now obviously that is there's a lot of contest on that, whether Dravida Shishu is himself, which is Adi Shankara himself, or it is Trinjana Sambandar. But I just wanted to explain that and just wanted to mention that. So such is the glory of this very magnificent temple and this very beautiful place, Sirkazhi. Shankaram, Siva Shankaram.